Hello everyone, welcome to a new video. Today I would like to continue with the group predictions, and this one's going to be for RIIZE, just to figure out how the 2025 is going to be. In the description below I will have the questions that we're answering here, as well as the timestamps in case you want to jump around to whatever it is you're interested. And if not, I will start with the first one and figure out how is wait no what is RIIZE current energy. Oh boy. We have the Wheel of Fortune, the Star Reverse, the Six of Cups upright, the Hierophant upright, the Magician upright, and the Nine of Wands upright. So those are a lot of cards, first of all. But we have some very big cards. So if the way that I want to almost divide it is like 1/3 of the year is gonna be like this, the other third like this, and the last third like that. So the first thing that we see here is the Wheel of Fortune, which is Jupiter energy, and it's supposed to show someone that is being guided by fate, someone that is just kind of stuck in the cycle that they have to go through, kind of lock in a certain path. The Wheel of Fortune is supposed to talk about good luck and good fortune, of course, so it is a positive card. So it feels that right now RIIZE is in a good place. Like right now they feel that they're protected or that they're taken care of, because the card right underneath the Wheel of Fortune is the Hierophant, and the Hierophant does talk about like a spiritual leader, or it talks about becoming part of a community, becoming part of a set of rules or a way of doing things. It's Taurus energy, by the way. Taurus is a sign that does talk about stability. It does talk about someone that is grounded, someone that can be very determined and persevere in whatever goal or endeavor they want to go through. Taurus energy is also very laser focused with whatever it is that they want to do. So when they're working on making something, they work for it, and they're kind of like the slow and steady type of people, where it's like every day or so they're working to get closer and closer to achieving their goals, even if it's not super organized, like for example a Virgo energy will have. But if you combine both of these cards, it almost feels like currently the group feels very fortunate, or they feel like destiny or fate or the universe is in their favor. So like they feel pretty fortunate, they feel pretty lucky, they feel pretty grateful as well of all of the good things that they have encountered so far in their journey. And with a Hierophant there, it just shows that they feel like there's people they can look up to, like maybe seniors or maybe staff or maybe even fans or something. Like they feel that they're taken care of, like there's a community out there for them. They feel like there's people out there for them that are looking out for them, wanting the best for them, and taking care of them. So both of these cards combined just shows that currently the group feels pretty good about their support system or of their community. Next we have the Star Reverse and the Magician. So seeing both of these cards, the star is supposed to talk about a dream come true, making a wish. It can talk about harvest. It can talk about trying to have this balance and harmony between the spiritual world and the 3D world. I don't know what I talked about harvest. Well, I guess harvest could symbolize a sense of abundance or a sense of um, collecting or claiming your rewards, if that makes sense. So currently the group made, okay, first of all, the star card is reversed, so that shows maybe a potential blockage or a lack of this energy. So seeing the star reverse could mean that right now the group doesn't feel too sure or too confident about making their dreams come true. Some of them, it could be because they don't know what they want out of life, and the others of them just think that what they want is a little bit too out there, or it's going to be a little bit too good to be true, or something that seems a bit of an impossible. I find it hilarious because every time I say, like it has happened when I'm just talking, saying what I have to say, and I keep getting RIIZE songs. So I said lucky and I thought of lucky. I said impossible and I thought of impossible. And the make a wish, but that sends it to you. Anyway, maybe their music could be very important to them. Maybe their music is a way for them to almost like, you know what is getting like a diary or a journal. It's like when they listen to their music, they get transported to what they were experiencing at the moment that they were promoting it, creating it, or maybe even later on, whatever symbolism their songs have for them at the moment that they're in. So I don't know, maybe their music is important to them. Aside from just like, this is my work and this is my career, more like I have a personal connection to it. But anyway, so the star is Aquarius energy, and with it being reversed, it shows that many of them don't really feel like their dream will come true. As I mentioned, some of them think it's very challenging, and others think don't really have an idea of what they want their dream to be. But with that Aquarius energy, it does feel that they may have to think outside the box, or they may have to fight against the status quo to accomplish their dreams. But I do want to say, with the magician underneath the star, it does show that maybe they don't really trust in allowing the universe to do its thing, meaning that they prefer to take action in making their manifestations a reality rather than allowing for just things to happen on their own and for things to unfold on their own. Maybe the group doesn't really have patience, or maybe the group realized that they need to have a bit more of a proactive approach to their goals because they feel a bit more reassured knowing that what they're doing will accumulate into something rather than just being like, let's just trust that things are going to work out or are going to pan out well. So the magician, this Mercury energy, this shows that they prefer to just inform themselves, communicate appropriately, and just learn what it is that they have to learn to accomplish what they want to accomplish. So what I mean in this case as well is like learning the skills necessary or gathering the knowledge to know what's the best plan or the best course of action, and then just taking action upon it to make it a reality. So the magician is a bit more of an active manifestation card, meaning that being underneath the star card reverse shows that the group doesn't feel super reassured that their dreams come true, and because of that they kind of overcompensate by just taking action. Next we have the Six of Cups upright and the Nine of Wands. So the Six of Cups does talk about the past, it does talk about childhood, or it could be talking about people from the past. I see the Six of Cups as making a promise or making a vow between two people, and the Six of Cups usually does show like this young boy giving flowers to this young girl. So that is supposed to show a sign of like being given to others or a form of abundance, especially since all the cups have flowers in them. It's like the cups are full, showing emotional fulfillment or emotional satisfaction. So this just shows that currently the group feels pretty good. They're not allowing past trauma or past mistakes hold them back or make them feel afraid, at least not consciously. Now I'm saying that because underneath the Six of Cups we have the Nine of Wands, and the Nine of Wands usually talks about someone that has gone through a lot of pain in the past, someone that has experienced failure or things not working out for them, and basically Nine of Wands is like they've seen things, and because of all of that past issues that the Nine of Wands has experienced, you usually see the figure in that card being a bit more guarded and defensive because they're kind of protecting themselves from experiencing the same things they've experienced in the past. So how does this translate to the current energy of the group? Pretty much the same thing. It's like they're not super conscious about how defensive they are to potential repeats of the past. So they prefer to try to stay positive and focus on things that have worked for them in the past. And because of that, they probably don't even realize how defensive they get when they think back. Or like when they're experiencing something that kind of triggers something from the past, like something that didn't work out or something that was very challenging or difficult, they don't realize that they kind of get their guard up and trying to make sure they don't experience that again by avoiding it at all cost or cutting the issue from the core rather than letting it kind of like fester into something bigger and greater. But the Nine of Wands does have a positive message, which is the whole idea of like not giving up. It's like despite the challenges, despite the struggles, and despite being in this guarded energy, the Nine of Wands is supposed to symbolize someone that works despite all of that, someone that goes like beyond those problems and is trying to overcome them by just continue pushing forward, continue getting their work done. And I'm saying that because after the Nine of Wands, we have the Ten of Wands, and the Ten of Wands describes the end of a cycle and someone that is overworking themselves or has a lot of responsibilities they're taking care of, but it has the reassurance that they're almost at their destination, like they're almost there. So it's like the last push of work that has to get done before they actually reach their destination or completing their task. So currently, that's how the group feels. They feel pretty lucky, even if things are not like 100% perfect. Let's go on to the next question, which is what is in store for RIIZE's career this 2025? See here. What is in store for RIIZE's career this 2025? We have the full moon in Cancer with a personal issue reaches resolution, and we have a new moon eclipse with an expect powerful change. So again, it seems like the group is in this transition phase of like ending the cycle of something and starting a new one. It's like, let's close up this chapter of our life and let's start into this new journey. So the expect powerful change just makes me think of this very big transformation that the group will go through, and it's one where they will finally close some cycles. They will get rid of some baggage, and like getting rid of baggage doesn't mean like all of a sudden poof, I'm healed, I will never get triggered by something like that. It's more along the lines of understanding and acknowledging how something makes you feel, understanding how you want to go about it, and then working through that. And it could be like a constant thing you have to work on. So let's say something didn't work out in the past, instead of like just never looking back and be like, that never happened, and dismissing it, is more along the lines of like, okay, why didn't it work? How can I make it better? It's like analyzing the situation, seeing how you can improve it, and then if some issue similar to it kind of peeks its head into your life again, you go like, okay, so I've experienced this before, this is how I'm going to deal with it this time around. So it's kind of just a growing, learning experience basically. So for RIIZE's career this 2025, it feels like they are going to get the conclusion of some of the issues or concerns they were having, and that will definitely help them grow as individuals, which definitely will benefit their career because now they have a bit more of a personality, that they're not afraid of like budging, or they're not afraid to show to others. And being able to be that confident is, of course, very good for the career that they're in, since they're constantly under the spotlight, constantly under the community's opinion and so on. Like people will criticize them, people will idealize them and stuff like that. I mean, that's just kind of like what it means to be a celebrity, right? So yeah, it seems like they would just get like the conclusion to something they've been wondering or thinking about. So now let's go into the individual career predictions, and I'll go in H order. So I'll start with Shotaro. So what's in store for his career? We have blind. You know what I'm getting? Usually the blind card will make you think of something negative, but at the moment I think that this blind energy is supposed to show that this year is going to be a bit of a mystery about his career. So like there's not much information that the cards want to I guess talk about or speak out, and it's kind of like just be surprised. If anything, the only advice I can give Shotaro this year is to not be afraid of jumping into the unknown, because a blind card makes me think of someone that goes into a situation without prior knowledge on it. And in this case, it's like if he can't prepare for something, it's fine to still try it, to still give it a go, because it could definitely guide him to like learn about new things about himself, or put himself in a position that will kind of force him to just trust in his instincts or trust in his skills that he may take for granted sometimes, because that's just how natural they are to him. So this blind card just makes it feels very positive for him this 2025 in his career. So it's just this whole idea of not really knowing what the future has ahead of him and being okay with that, and then being okay with trying new things, basically. Now let's go on to the next person. So what's in store for Unsok's career this 2025? We have confinement, live and learn, and protest. So this 2025 for Unsok, it feels like he's going to have a lot of clashing energies, and that clashing energy is caused because he felt trapped somehow. So I don't know how literally we should take this. Meaning that I don't know if there's external issues that are causing him to feel trapped and like he has to stay in a box, or he has to stick to a certain way of doing things or a certain way of living life. And if it's not literally, then maybe in his mind he has limiting beliefs that hold him back, or maybe labels and expectations that he's holding on to the point that it's pushing him back and holding him back rather than giving him the structure that he truly needs. It's like I'm thinking of the Eight of Swords with the whole idea of like limiting beliefs that kind of trap you from the ability to grow and expand. But also, I was gonna say the Nine of Swords by accident, so I do feel that maybe he's in this energy with his career, especially where he's just very stressed and he has constant nightmares and he may be a bit anxious, and that could just be the cause of overthinking and stress. And all of that may be affecting his sleep as well. But the live and learn just makes me think that this year in his career, he's going to just kind of experience life for what it is, just experiencing the things that he has to experience, learn the things that he has to learn, and then just continue with life. So try not to take too seriously what happens, in the sense of like not taking it personally if things don't work out, or not being too hard on himself if things don't work out, and instead being in a mentality where it's like things just happen the way that they happen, and that he doesn't have control over everything to come out in his favor. So it's just like you live and you learn, that type of vibe. And then the protest card just makes me think that he's going to speak out for himself and stand up for himself and just speak his mind and tell people where he stands, what he prioritizes, how he feels about things, and so on, so on. So for his career, he's going to kind of stand up and break free. That what is he breaking free of? Maybe limiting beliefs or labels, or maybe just the limitations of his career, like kind of trying to break free and be like, hey, I want more, hey, I want to do things differently, or something like that. Now, what is in store for Sung Chang's career this 2025? We have Nightmare. So right now the group is doing well, but then for individual career stuff, that's when things kind of fall apart a little bit. And one of the reasons why that could be is because you have some people, like for example Sungshan and Chotaro, that have had a bit more of an idol career than the rest of the group. However, it feels like for them they don't have the opportunities where they can shine as individuals, and that could be stressing them out a little bit. And I'm saying them because Chotaro technically didn't get a positive card, which, I mean, it makes sense why the company wouldn't want them to shine too much on their own, because right now they're in a group, so they should be thinking of how to succeed as a group rather than on their own. But also it makes sense from the artist's perspective why they will want to have solo schedules and prioritize those, because they've been kind of like on their own a little bit longer than they've been in a group. So with a nightmare card for Sungchan, it just feels like he's going to be very stressed, maybe even overworked, or maybe he won't sleep too well in this year. One of the reasons could be because his career is very stressful, or maybe he's encountering some issues or something that he's very concerned about that could happen in his career. Like maybe he's worried, maybe something's happening that he's afraid it could affect his career, or maybe his career is not doing the way that he wants it. And because of that, he may feel a bit overwhelmed, a bit stressed, or I don't know, maybe people's criticisms or people's opinions of him could be causing him to start overthinking things and start feeling a bit overwhelmed with his life in general, or his way of doing things. Like, the Nightmare card is just showing that he's going to have a bit of a rough time this 2025. But let's go on to the next person and figure out what's in store for Woonbin's career this year. We have real estate. So for him, the real estate card just shows that he's going to do pretty well. He's going to be pretty happy, pretty stable. Like things are going to make sense for him. So maybe things are secure and stable enough that he's able to clearly see what is meant for him, what is not meant for him. In his career, he's going to go like, okay, this is where I'm going, or this is my goal, and this is what I have to do to accomplish it and to make it a reality. So I think he's going to have a very clear idea of what he wants and how and like the steps that he needs to take to make it happen. So he is of the few people that we kind of saw earlier that kind of feels pretty good about the place that they are at, and that's because he knows where he's headed. And even if he doesn't know how the outcome is going to be or how the journey will be as he's getting to his goal, he is assured, or he is pretty confident that he will power through because he knows what he has to do to complete his goal, was the words that came out, to just accomplish it basically. So the real estate just makes me think of contracts. It makes me think of something secure, something long lasting, something that's meant to stay. So there's something in his career, like maybe a opportunity or a project that he's going to land on that is going to be very long lasting. So I'm getting like maybe an established position in a variety show, or maybe his own segment on something, or maybe his own, like promoting a specific brand of fashion or something that kind of will make him feel like, yes, my career is solid, like this is what I needed, this is what I wanted, this is what will, like there's something that he has wanted that will represent that he has made it, or that will represent to him that he is in an established position now. So maybe is like there will be a sign or something that will happen in 2025 that will tell him, yeah, this is like the sign that I was looking for, or the sign that I wanted, that will reassure me that I have more of a stable standing in my career. I have more of a wiggle room to make mistakes. Not necessarily meaning that he can be like an asshole or like get into scandals, but more along the lines of like, if someone does something to him or something, it won't ruin his reputation, because now he has enough to like, I guess, to protect him, if that makes sense. Now let's go on to the next person and figure out what's in store for Sohi's career. He's 2025. Now I'm saying it that way because right now that I'm looking at the romanization of his name, I went, wait, how do you say his name? So now I'm doubting. So we have Sweet Dream. That's actually funny that Sweet Dream is right underneath the Nightmare car. We have Strategy. We have Marionette, Self-Love, and Right. This makes me think that this year he's going to have a very good balance between what he wants to do and what he has to do. The difference between what he needs and what he wants. He's going to have a very good idea of what his dreams are, how to take care of himself. Like, how should I put it? It's like when someone's working and they are working towards the things that they want, but they are also aware of the responsibilities that they have to take care of. So they have a very good balance of those two things. And it's also kind of like, even though he's an idol, he understands the stuff that he's getting criticized for, and he understands the difference between constructive criticism and then people that are just hating. And because of that, he knows what to pay attention to and what to ignore. And also because of all of that, he's in a way practicing self-love, in the sense of he's not allowing other people's opinions to like influence him so easily. He is standing his ground, he's prioritizing himself, he is practicing integrity, meaning that he is sticking to who he is as a person, and knowing that what other people's opinions are don't always have to be taken seriously, or he doesn't always have to take them to change himself. So if someone is criticizing, let's say someone's criticizing his looks, and he's like, well, who cares? Or if someone is like criticizing his background, he's like, okay, but like, that's what made me who I am right now. So like, kind of like suck it up. So that makes me think that if there's any criticism that he feels is not actually constructive to improving him as a person or as an idol, he will just ignore it and just continue moving forward. So I'm saying that because this Marionette, this makes me think of like, okay, do what your contract says, act the way that you're supposed to act. And because of that, he does what he has to do. Like, that's part of his job, and he sees it as part of his job instead of seeing it as like, oh, I'm trapped, or seeing it as saying like, oh, I don't want to do this. He just goes like, well, this is just what has to be done, in case, not in case, but this is what I have to do to continue moving forward in my journey to accomplish a goal that he actually wants. So if he wants to sing, he knows that, well, as an idol, there's other stuff that he has to do. He has to dance, be in variety shows, record concept and material that is going to go out, concept. Or like all of these things that maybe to others is like, oh, here we go again. But to him, it's like, well, that's just part of the job. So why bring this negativity when I can just try to stay positive and get it done? And maybe not. So I guess his strategy for this year, for his career, is like anything that he feels like he has to do and like he's kind of dragging his feet to do, he just goes like, okay, let me emotionally detach from it, just get it done and move on. And that's his way of practicing self-love. He's not pressuring himself and he is not torturing himself by being like, I don't want to do this. He just gets it done. And the right card just makes me think of like abundance and manifestation is like maybe some spell work or maybe some like what I'm getting for him is like when he goes to sleep, that's the best time or like the best way he's manifesting what he wants. Is like maybe he connects a bit more to his subconscious, and by doing that he kind of triggers the visualization of what future he wants and how he wants to accomplish his goals, or being able to figure out what his goals are. And that's just his way of manifesting and getting in touch with his abundance. It's kind of like the magician talks about having all the materials necessary to create your manifestations into something tangible. And well, that is what I'm bringing back to this riot card of like, when he's asleep, he just visualizes what he needs and what he wants. And then he kind of just wakes up with this fresh energy of like, today I'm going to make the day count, or something like that. Now, to end off this section of the reading, let's figure out what's in store for Anton's career this 2025. We have stop with a break, pause, and stagnation. So this year, he's going to be stopping a lot of criticism. So if anyone's saying something, he's got to be like, okay, not in my space, not in my room. Kind of like trying to cleanse his area, trying to cleanse his mind, his people, his co-workers. Like it, what I mean here is like in 2025 he's going to not entertain any energy that does not fit him, or entertain any people or situations that are just bringing him down instead of like helping him improve as a person. So I think, I guess, a little bit similar to like Sohee. I hope I'm saying it right. That for Anton, the whole idea of like, if anyone wants to get in his space and they're bringing some bad vibes, he's just going to be like, no, get away. He's going to be like, okay, no, we're going to address the situation, we're going to address this issue, and then let's move on. So this stop card just makes me think that he's going to like stand up for himself by just not allowing negativity to pass through. You know, I got the whole beam of like, you shall not pass, but in this case it's like Anton going like, I'm not allowing this energy, I'm not allowing this vibe. Do you pass the vibe check? Okay, you don't, you're out. And I don't mean that in a way of like a judgmental way of like, I don't want to deal with this person, but more like someone already did or said something that made him go, yeah, I don't want to be in this environment, I don't want to be near this person, I don't want to be in this energy. Like he will respect himself were the words that came up. So like, he's just not going to allow negativity to enter his space, and he's going to keep it clean, keep it cleansed, and not bother with anything that is unnecessary. So he's going to stand up for himself in that sense, and just making sure that his energy, his mind, his heart, his space, it's all cleaned from negativity and from people. So now let's go on to the last question, which is any advice and healing messages for RIIZE for this 2025. Sure, why not? So we have a chunk of cards that came out. The first card is Balsamic Moon with a time for healing. We have first quarter moon with your commitment is being tested. We have void, of course, moon with nothing will come of the situation. Full moon in Scorpio with it's time to release negativity. Super moon with emotions are running high. And third quarter moon with adjustments are required. all of these cards have a lot of purple in them, so that makes me think of the third chakra and the crown chakra, meaning that for the group, the best advice is to have clarity and use their intuition when they're moving forward in their life. This Scorpio energy just makes me think of transformation. Scorpio energy is a type of energy that pokes into all of the weak spots that they have, and they try to like break that side of them and release all of those things that don't work for them, that are not in their best benefit, that don't help them or are not to their advantage, and then just get rid of that energy, and then just kind of have like this rebirth where they are like the new version of themselves that is filled with confidence and security, that they went through the change necessary and the sacrifices necessary to become a better version of themselves. So the advice here for the group is like, when things don't go their way, it's for a reason, and they need to use their intuition to figure out, do I have to break free from traditions and think outside the box, or do I walk away from the situation? And that also boils down with people, is like, do I persevere and make sure I get along with this person because I know they're going through a rough time, or as they use their intuition, just go like, no, this person's just an asshole, I don't have to deal with them. So I do feel that they're kind of practicing this balance, or they're being encouraged this year to practice this balance of using their intuition to figure out what challenges they should deal with and which others are not necessary for them to deal with. The only reassurance I can give is like, regardless of them listening to their intuition or not, they will experience what they have to experience. So let's say they make a quote unquote mistake and they deal with a situation that they didn't have to. Well, by dealing with that situation, by the end of it, if they learn what they have to learn, they will realize, okay, yeah, I didn't have to experience that pain and that in those challenging periods, but now I know how to identify it, and I also know that I have, well, they will have the reassurance that they will know how to deal with it either the next time, or they will, if they successfully went through that challenge that they didn't have to go through, they will also learn, oh well, I went through this experience and I did a pretty good job at figuring out how to, like, I handled the situation well, so now I know that if it happens again, I'll know what to do. So that's kind of what I'm getting at. It's like, there's technically no right or wrong answers when it comes to healing and experiencing life, but let's just say that they didn't use their intuition and then they made the wrong decision. That's what could happen, right? Like, they will still end up where they have to end up. It's just like, it just took like some extra steps to get there, but it's not a bad thing. That's just part of the learning process, right? So like, this also kind of works like with you guys. Let's say you are going through something and your spiritual team is going over here like, hey, why don't you do this instead? And you just don't listen because you're distracted, or you're too focused on like, this is how I want it, and this is the path that I'm taking. Well, even if it's the quote unquote wrong path, you will eventually end up, you will go back into alignment with what path was meant for you, or which path is the most convenient for what it is that you want. And I think that's just how life works in general. It's like, as you're doing things, you kind of have to just correct things as you go. So you're going through your journey, and since you don't know, even if you know this is how things are supposed to work, when you put it into practice, sometimes it doesn't really happen. I'm thinking of like when someone is crafting something or cooking something or baking something. It's like, sometimes you can follow the recipe to the T or do things how by the books or whatever, but then when you actually put it into practice and actually get it done, you go like, wait, I need a little bit more of this, needed a little bit of that, because maybe the materials are different, or maybe the weather's not ideal, or maybe the ingredients were different, or whatever it could be. It depends what situation you're in. And because of that, you kind of have to just be like, oh, okay, let me change this, oh, let me change that, and then you kind of just adjust the journey to fit the situation that you're in, fit with the person that you are as well, and then just succeed from there. So if anything, the other thing that I want to mention is, which is the third quarter moon with adjustments are required. That kind of goes with what I was just talking about. But yeah, it feels like life is telling them that right now they need to heal, and as they're healing, they're going to notice that things are not perfect, and that's perfectly fine. That's normal. That's okay. So yeah, if anything, they're telling them to work with their emotions so that they can think clearly rather than just be reckless about things, to not grow desperate when they're going through their journey and through their healing, because healing is not something that's done overnight. And even when they think they're done doing their healing, they may encounter periods of a time where that pain gets triggered again, and they have to reassure themselves that they can go through that process again. Like, healing is of those things that is like, there's always something to learn, there's always growth, and there's always room for improvement. And lastly, with your commitment is being tested, it just feels like the group will encounter challenges and they just have to prepare for them. That's kind of just the advice for them this year. Anyway, I hope you guys like this reading. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope that you also learned from it, or at least found it entertaining. There is a lot of information here that we could take away as individuals, but if not, I hope that things turn out well for RIIZE. I don't really know what they're afraid of when it comes to their individual thing, but I do feel that it could just be that it boils down to personality and how they take the situation that RIIZE has been in, and the situation that RIIZE is in right now. And I just mean like their position in the company, because there's stuff behind the scenes that we don't see that maybe they're experiencing, and they're going like, management is kind of whack, and that could be something they're afraid of, that we on the outside go like, well, you don't know how bad that is, right? Anyway, I hope you guys like this reading. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you for all the love and support you have shown me and the channel, and make sure that you continue supporting RIIZE and the activities that they have, and let's hope that they take out some good music, because I've been enjoying their sound, I've been enjoying their music, so I just hope that they take more stuff to enjoy this year. So yes, love and healing for my part to you, and bye.